My name is Julie Plasencia. I am a fifth-year doctoral student in the Department of Food Science and Human Nutrition. I am a registered dietitian, and I came back to school to study human behaviors and diet in diverse populations. And I help to teach a course in the dietetics program here. To me, diversity is really about the different interpretations in which people have about the world around them. When I think about diversity in the college classroom, I really think about problem solving first. When we allow students to have different opinions and perspectives on solving problems, it really can generate a rich discussion, and students can learn from each other and learning diverse and different ways to solve even just the same problem. Including diverse perspectives in STEM and STEM education is really important because I view this as an opportunity for innovation. When we encourage students to solve problems and we encourage them to voice their opinions and work with other students in the classroom, it really brings out their innovation skills. And innovation is one of the key components of science and scientific discovery. And so I feel that when we encourage diverse perspectives in the classroom, we are actually engaging them in science. The course I help to teach here at MSU is called Global Foods and Culture. Dr. Lorraine Weatherspoon is the main instructor. The course is about the different perspectives and influences into dietary behaviors of individuals and populations. And so the course is taught in a chronological order where we start from some of the historical aspects of eating, such as hunters and gatherers, and we move through more current topics, such as environmental issues like genetically modified foods. And so a lot of these issues can be controversial, and but again, the course is mainly about the things that influence dietary behaviors. So we also talk about religion, and we also talk about hunger, domestic hunger and world hunger, and the different ways in which all these affect not just how people eat, but how, as a healthcare professional or future healthcare professional, you view these issues when you encounter them in your professional life. So one of the ways in which I bring my own perspective to the classroom is that as a registered dietitian, I worked for 4 years with diverse populations prior to coming back to Michigan State. And I wanted to make sure that students were able to be exposed to some of the same problems and same questions that I had when I was working. And one of the questions that I often got from friends and also patients was, what do you think of the paleo diet? And the paleo diet is a trendy diet. It's really common among specific strength and conditioning type of exercise. And in this physical activity, this type of exercise, they are encouraged to eat caveman style. And I wanted to make sure that students understood how relevant the historical parts of hunters and gatherers are they still relevant today. So thinking about that, I wanted to have them answer the same question. What do you think of the paleo diet? So we developed an activity where we provided the students with lectures, some reading material, and also some background information and perspective from the developer of this diet. And in this activity, students were challenged to formulate in groups an opinion as a group about what they would respond. And I had several leading questions towards the final question, and it's very interesting because the students were able to bring their own perspective and their own experiences into the paleo diet. And one of the really great things that happened is that one of the students participated in this CrossFit strength and conditioning activity. So his group's opinion was largely related to his experience with it and how in his life, in his lifestyle, he has this rigorous physical activity. So therefore, for him, this caveman style diet or this paleo diet really helped him to keep up that energy and perform the activities that are very rigorous in that exercise. And it really generated a discussion around the class because some students had never heard of the paleo diet. Some students thought that the paleo diet was just a fad, a ridiculous thing. And we were able to have a really respectful and very critical thinking conversation around the topic. And actually, even in our teaching evaluations, this came across because the students expressed how they appreciated having a professor and an instructor that was respectful of their opinions, as opposed to just telling them that there's only one correct answer for that question. Another example of an activity that we have for the students, we want to expose them and have them experience somewhat uncomfortable topics in the course. And one of these topics can often be religion. In the class, we developed a religion assignment where, again, the students work in groups, and each student in the group has a different religion assigned, and they have to complete a series of questions that they have to look up on their own before they come to class. When they come to class, it's a collaborative learning assignment, so they work together and they teach each other the different religions that they each learned. And in the end, we have a discussion about each of the questions on the religion, and because it's a large class, we're able to have diverse answers by students on the same question because they all have different sources for their information. And one of the most apparent ways in which religion and diet and the rituals that go along with the religion it really is different is in the degree of adherence to the religious practices. And so that also exemplifies how different even people with the same religion and the same dietary restrictions or recommendations would actually perform at different levels of adherence. And so that's a really great activity for them to also understand that one religion and their dietary practices aren't so strict. You know, everybody has their own background and experiences that bring into, and even when it comes to something as maybe we would view as strict as a religious practice, would actually be different based on the individual's preferences as well. The diversity in the classroom that I help with is really actually very interesting. Dietetic students tend to be female. But because the course is a prerequisite for other programs in the university, we have a diverse group of majors in the program. So sometimes we'll have anthropology students, sociology students, communication students, human biology. So there's always a nice mixture of students in the class. One of the ways that I try to leverage this diversity is by putting together the groups, the assigned groups, and trying to make sure that there's a diversity of majors within those groups so that we can hear the different opinions that they have about the same topic.